Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you step by step how to paint a little landscape. This is from a photo that I took here on Vancouver Island, and we're working on a 5x7 black primed canvas today with a few different colors and brushes that I'm going to be listing below in the description of this video. I've got ultramarine blue, I've got luminous yellow, neon pink, titanium white, and Mars black, sap green, and I've also got a little bit of neon yellow. I'm going to begin this painting with a mop brush, and you can use any blending brush that you have. You don't have to have this specific brush. I'm taking a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of white, just very simply, easily blending it into the top portion of the sky, and then I'm going to create a little line, sort of a diagonal line. And you can switch to a flat brush for this part if you want, but you can just use the end of this mop brush very easily, just pulling and dragging on a slant. This is going to be the road. So here I'm going to take my smaller flat brush, more blue and white, and I'm going to start layering in more of the color now. Just pulling long strips of that blue and white. This will be our nice shadow, cool shadow color on the road. And I'll add more of a slant. Wiggle my brush around a little bit. I'm not going to paint all of that black in because that's going to be the dark forest and trees. So I'm going to do another layer now. Taking a little bit more white than the blue, and I'm going to lightly just pull and blend this around, making sure that the sky is going to be nice and bright. I'm going to take a little bit more of my blue and white and just start working on this road a little bit more. I'm going to switch over to a mini fan brush. I'm going to take my dark sap green, a little bit of black, load both sides, and I'll begin painting my trees in my forest here. I'm going to turn my brush straight up and down and start tapping in for little tiny trees way off in the distance. And this is a very easy and quick way to create an instant forest. Then you can turn your brush the other way to start tapping in for branches where we have these larger trees in the foreground. And you can also use a Filbert brush for this too. You can use a liner brush or a round brush, even a flat brush would work. I'm going to come in on the right side and tap right into that wet white and blue paint. That's going to make it look really soft and kind of hazy where those sunbeams are going to be coming out from. And then I'm going to take more black and sap green and make sure that it's really, really dark on this side, but just with a hint of that green. So I'll work on the shapes of these trees a little bit more, and then I'm going to come in with a highlight and pull in a little bit of white, neon yellow, and the sap green. And don't worry if you don't have neon paints, you can still create this painting. Just use the brightest yellow that you have, or like a really light chartreuse green, and the brightest pink, brightest orange. You can definitely make a beautiful landscape like we are today without having neon paints, so it's definitely doable, guys. So now I'm just going to pull into that neon yellow, white, and sap green and start tapping. And I'm going to start my taps up a little bit higher on the outer sides of the canvas where it's closer to us, and then they're going to go down on a slight slant, and that is going to really draw us in to our center of interest, and that's where that sun is coming from, way off in the distance there. It's going to create that really, really neat perspective. Now I did a much larger, similar landscape painting, sort of like this, and I'm going to leave a picture of it and a link below at the very end of this video. I'm going to just take a little liner brush now and add a few more little delicate branches on the top that I'm not able to do with my fan brush or a Filbert brush. And then I'm going to switch over to my cat's tongue brush. It's very pointy on the end, and this is a nice brush to use too. It's a little alternative, so I can show you guys a few different options if you don't have all the paintbrushes. I've used three different ones now so far for my trees. So with a clean brush, I'm going to take a little bit of white, pink, and orange, and I'm going to start the first layer of highlights here from that sun right on the side of the road. And this is our little path where we're walking. And I'll just balance it out with some more contrast by dabbing and adding little bits of black on top of there. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to a Filbert brush, take more yellow, green, and white. Push and tap the colors together to get them all blended on my brush. And I'm going to begin another layer, bringing that up just a little bit higher now. And then I'm just going to come in with a little bit more of my yellow. Then I'll add some black and add a little bit more of shadow and contrast right under those brighter bushes and at the base. I'm just going to come in with my orange and my white now and just tap really lightly around where the sun is going to be, and it's going to be bright white in between that. I like to have a little bit of an orange glow, my sunset colors, kind of on the outside of the trees and branches that are really close to the sun. Now I'm just taking a little bit more of my blue and my white, and then more white. Blue and white closer to the trees, and white in between the trees and right where our sun's going to be. And I'm going to work on some power pulls, and very simply, you can use a flat brush, a liner brush. I've got my cat's tongue brush for this, and I'm just using my light blue that I made. You can also just use a little bit of white and black if you want. Very simple, 2 lines, one shorter as it gets farther away for our perspective. And then just a few simple lines, and they kind of scoop down a little bit. Now that one's just a little bit too thick, so I'm going to just take a little bit of that off. And then I'm picking up a bit of black and green in there, which is good because the white won't show up with that white little bit of sky in between those trees. So you want to have a bit of a darker color for where your power lines are between those trees. And I'll just dab for the little box on the outside of the power poles. And then a nice light blue line right here at the base on the other side of the road. I'm now going to take blue, white, and pink, and I'm going to very lightly just drag my brush over, skipping a few spaces there so I can see the contrast. And then I'm going to go on to add that color for my sun rays. So just light little pulls and flicks. I'll grab a little bit of my orange or luminous yellow and just dab in and around that sun and pull some more little sun rays. So I'll be adding some white in the center, and I'll be pulling and flicking into my sun rays with that as well. So I'll be alternating with my pink, my luminous yellow, and white. You don't want to push too hard with your brush. You want to do this very delicately. Okay, so I think these sun rays look quite pretty. I'm going to switch over to blue and white with a clean brush, and I'm going to add a little bit more of that into the top of the sky. Take a little bit of black and green and make the bottom of this power pole more in shadow. And I'll continue to build up the color on the sun rays with some more of the pink. And then some more of my orange or luminous yellow. And I'm just dabbing in a little bit in between these sun rays with my sap green and just a little bit of black. And then very lightly going over some of the sun rays that are coming out towards the foreground. This will help draw our eyes into the center and create better perspective. for another layer of highlights, warm, sunny highlights on this road. We're taking more of the luminous yellow and white. And then blue, pink, and white. Now I'm going to take a little bit more blue and less white, go right on the far left, and then down on the right. Just adding some more color to this path. And then I'll add a little bit more to the road as well, making the shadow a little bit darker. But just before I do that, I'm going to touch up my sun rays once more. Luminous yellow with more white this time. And I'm going to make a few more bright sun rays, skinnier this time. And I'm going to do some little ones that go right down to the road. And I'll be adding the final touches to this little painting today. I hope you guys really enjoy this one. Give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks everyone, happy painting, and I'll see you next time really soon in another video.